and welcome to V8 Online's live and exclusive Supercars series, proudly brought to you by our good friends at Extreme Sim Gear, Direct Clutch Services, and of course V8 Supercar Fan Group. I'm Stephen Sandman Clark, slipping into the host chair again. Jay Kennedy still feeling a little bit under the weather, but fingers crossed he'll be back next week. But joining me, as always, right next to me, my co-pilot for tonight, Corey Henger. Corey, how you going, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. And, hello to everyone out there joining us again. And it's a shame that Jay's had to miss out on another night. I think it's going to be some good racing, but a little birdie's telling me he might be back next week, so you guys won't have to put up with me for too much longer.
You'll be able to slip back into the driver's seat, mate.
Oh, I was going to until I heard it was at Phillip Island, so...
That's next week, and of course this week we head to Zolder, 25 laps. It's a circuit that the V8 Supercar Series has been to before and does produce a little bit of good racing.
Yeah, it's a good little circuit. I mean, it's got some high-speed corners and those really tight chicanes, but the big thing for me is this track has absolutely no grip. Every time I try and drive it, I just find the car having lots and lots of oversteer, so... You know, these guys are going to have their hands full tonight, but it's going to be a good one.
Now, as always, we have a special guest joining us on the broadcast to do a hot lap, and tonight it's the driver of the Tats.com Falcon, Madison Down. Madison, welcome to V8 Online.
Yeah, thanks guys. Always fun doing these hot laps, and hopefully produce a pretty clean lap for the broadcast.
Mate, so far so good, mate. You find yourself P2, a couple of tenths behind Ruggier at the moment, but still another qualifying session to go. How's preparation been for the week leading up to Zolder?
Yeah, not brilliant. Haven't jumped on for any laps until tonight, so a little bit behind the 8 ball at the moment, just trying to play catch up. But yeah, Justin's got amazing pace tonight, 31.6 provisional pole for him, and I'm 3 tenths away from that at the moment, so looking for a little bit more, but going to be tough.
Now the final qualifying session does always sometimes throw up a bit of a curveball. We saw Josh Muggleton go out and snatch pole last time during the last qualifying session. Have you got anything else maybe for Ruggier?
Yeah, for sure. I've been improving with every lap I've done so far tonight, so I'll be having a look at grabbing pole position, but it's going to have to be a pretty bloody impressive lap to grab him, so you never know, we'll see what happens.
How does this circuit sit on the old favourites list, mate? Do you enjoy this place?
Yeah, I really like it. You got to drive really smooth around here and control the wheel spin, and there's some massive curbs, and it really suits the V8. You just got to really be smooth with your driving, and yeah, you know, a lot of Australian tracks have those big curbs as well, so it's not too dissimilar to tracks like, say, Winton and Oran Park and stuff like that.
Alright, mate, well, we're coming to the end of this out lap, so we'll hand it over to you to show us how it's done around Circuit Zolder.
Alright, so you want to start this hot lap and get a nice clean run onto the straight, pull third gear a bit early, bring the throttle in nice and smoothly, not getting any wheel spin. Keep plucking the gears away here. Got to brake as late as you dare into turn 1, turn it in early, make the curb on the inside, use a fair bit of exit road there. It's easy to lock a front right here and run wide. You just got to try and nose it in, control the wheel spin on the exit, short shift, modulate the throttle. The car's wanting to crack sideways the whole way around there. Down to 4th, turn it in, make that apex. There's no grip on the exit of this corner. Very hard to get the power down there. Next corner's one of the hardest on the track. Got to brake really late. Try and not hit the curbs too hard. Then it's really hard to get the power down. Car again wants to crack sideways over this hill. Gets plenty of wheel spin. Very easy to cut this second chicane, so you got to make sure you don't do that. Car's a little bit ugly across the curbs there, you got to be really patient. Short shift going up the hill, control the throttle. Wants to crack sideways there as well, as Corey mentioned, it's very low grip. Brake as late as you dare into the hairpin. Very hard to get it stopped, to make the curb. Try and get a smooth exit. Accelerate hard towards the last chicane. Brake at the 100 board. Down to second gear, you can take a little bit of curb there, up to third. Try and get the power down smoothly onto the straight, struggled a little bit there. A little bit of an average lap, but not bad.
32.5, mate. I think a lot of people would be quite happy to have that in their back pocket. Now, when you look at the layout of Circuit Zolder, you look at the track map and you think, oh, 10 turns doesn't look too bad, but it's a completely different story when you slide into the driver's seat.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's so hard to get all these corners right. There's plenty of big braking zones into tight technical chicanes, and as I said, the curbs are massive, and to get the car to behave off those and land smoothly and get the power down, it's such a tricky track to get right.
Now, we're not all too far away from the final qualifying session. You're pretty happy with your setup, or you're going to go into it with making a couple of changes, or what's the plan for you and your Tats.com Falcon?
I don't think I'll be able to make the car any better setup-wise. I've just got to tweak the driving a little bit. It's probably not quite as comfortable as I want it to be. I haven't really had enough track time this week. You know, had a lot of outside things to do. So it's going to be a little bit ugly to drive, but we'll rag it in the race and see where we end up. Hopefully we're there. It's a fuel-saving race tonight, so that normally means that setup's not so important. It's more about driver anyway, so hopefully I can keep up with Ruggier and he doesn't just drive off into the horizon.
Now, your pace has been somewhat under a bit of a microscope the last couple of weeks. Probably not the outright pace we've expected from you for the last couple of races. You reckon you can turn it all around tonight?
Yeah, I've really struggled, and I haven't enjoyed being out-raced and out-qualified by my teammate, Josh Muggleton. So, of course, he's not here tonight, so I've got to try and capitalise. I'm up there in P2, so higher than I have been in the previous weeks. Got the new pedals now, so there's no excuses. Got to start performing if I want another championship.
All right, mate. We're only 5-7 minutes away from the final qualifying session. We'll let you get out and compose yourself and get ready for that. But we appreciate you stopping by and showing all our viewers a hot lap around Circuit Zolder, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Looking forward to the race, and I'll chat to you guys after.
Appreciate your time, mate. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
There you go, Corey. That's the way it's done. These two guys, Justin Ruggier and Madison Down, have punched out some pretty good numbers, but even Madison Down saying that Justin's probably the guy to beat. You know, wouldn't you find himself 3/10 quicker than the rest of the field? It's not a bad margin to have up your sleeve coming into the race.
Yeah, those two have really been the form guys this week. But I got to say, the last couple of weeks now, Justin has he seemed to have a lot of pace in qualifying, but the races haven't gone his way. I mean, he did well at Twindering after a few mistakes, but the last couple of weeks, I think we've seen Justin be the real pace man for the majority of the week. So it'd be interesting to see now, though, if Madison can do a Muggleton and maybe pull out a last lap flyer in qualifying.
And I know things have changed a little bit for Ruggier, but in the past, he hasn't really been famous for his fuel-saving techniques. And that's probably part and parcel of why he's so quick. He's pretty aggressive on the throttle and knows how to throw it around. But maybe in weeks gone by, his weakness has been fuel saving. But I believe the guys don't have to save too much. So fingers crossed that won't be too much of a burden for him this week.
Yeah, it's a thing that only some drivers can actually seem to master. I mean, I personally struggle with it when I try it, but it's hard because as a race driver, you want to go out there and you want to just go as fast as you can, use as much of the tires and the throttle as you can. But you've really got to watch the throttle roll off down the straights, and it can be quite challenging to get right. That's for sure.
So we're not all that far away from final qualifying, about 5 minutes to go, where these guys will hit the track for the last time in preparation for round 8. Circuit Zolder, 25 laps. So like we were saying with fuel saving, there's not all that much the guys have to save, which is pretty good because some of these races can get a bit tedious as far as fuel saving. But on the other hand, Jay and I have, commentated some ripper races where fuel saving has been just absolutely brilliant. So I don't think it'll be too much of an issue with the guys, which is good. But it's all going to be wait and see to see how it all plays out. Now, of course, the championship has tightened up too. I believe we had Josh Muggleton taking the lead at the end of the final round last week for round 7. And obviously the points have shuffled around a little bit because a couple of guys have got in some earlier races. But at the moment, with Justin Ruggier, Vara Ritchie's, Josh Muggleton, Madison Down and Michael Fabian, your top 5 for overalls. And it's turning out to be quite a battle up front.
Yeah, I mean, the championship's been, changing around a lot with the races yesterday and then today, but the drop weeks is what really has me interested. We're coming up now to 8 weeks, so for those that aren't familiar with iRacing, after 8 weeks, you have you have 4 drop weeks basically, so your 4 worst results, and that's when it really starts to get interesting, Sam. And I think you'd have to agree. It becomes very interesting now as the points start to shuffle out. People trying to work out, who's where when the drop points come in, and because it can change championship quite a bit. I remember a couple of seasons ago a battle with Richard Hampstead and Madison Down that I think come down to from memory, come down to the drop weeks and how that played out. So it's going to be interesting now over the next few weeks as the guys start to crunch the numbers and try to work out whereabouts they are.
Yeah, and there's obviously mixed emotions with drop weeks, but obviously everyone's got a busy lifestyle outside of iRacing. I think it's a brilliant thing to have because sometimes people may have to work different patterns, whether they work night shifts or weekends, and it just really plays into key. When you come up on special events maybe, and like we saw with last championship, a couple of races actually fell on Christmas and New Year's, so it actually sort of evens the field and makes it sort of a lot more easier for guys to take part in this championship.
Yeah, I mean, it's as you said, something that some people don't like, but at the same time, I'd have to say, as you said, there's so many different things that can come up with outside life that obviously is going to affect if you're able to race or practice. And I mean, maybe 4 is a little bit too much, but I think 2 would be a good number. But I definitely think it's something we have to have in sim racing.
Like I said, we're not all that far from final qualifying, coming up in a couple of minutes' time. Chance, while we've got a bit of time up our sleeve, to remind you of Race Reality. No doubt everyone's heard about this amazing promotion brought to you by Race Centre, where you will have your chance to win a race in a real race car, the Aussie racing car around Homebush for the final round of the V8 Supercars. And obviously a big thanks to everyone at Race Centre and hello at the same time because they're tuning into our broadcast. So a big g'day to everyone at Race Centre that's watching all around Australia. And Race to Reality will be on Wednesday, and of course v8sonline will be there to broadcast all the action from 8:50 p.m. And geez, Corey, every week we give it a bit of a plug, and it's just amazing that a sim racer somewhere around the world can be kicking back in their lounge room or where they decide to race, and next thing they know it, they could be racing an Aussie racing car around Homebush.
Yeah, as we said the last couple of weeks, it's a great little competition that Race Centre have put on, and I'm proud to be part of the commentary team for that series because it has been fantastic. We've seen some great racing, and it could very well be one of our main V8 Supercar guys come December could find themselves on the grid at Homebush racing Aussie racing car, and it's hard to wrap your head around because a lot of guys see this as just a computer game, but like I said last week, a lot of people in sim racing, I do think it would have the ability and the skill to race a real car, and this is really going to put them to the test and see if they've got it.
And also, if you're not aware, v8sonline broadcasts a Grand M series on a Thursday night. Our broadcast starts from 9:45, and it's a brilliant series where you get the mix of the DPs and the McLarens, and 2 winners on the same night in class racing is brilliant stuff.
Yeah, the Grand Am series is really starting to gain some momentum. It's a fantastic series. One of my personal favourites in real life and in sim racing. It's the multi-class stuff is just fantastic. And this week we've actually got I guess you'd call it a mini enduro by Grand Am specifications. It's 80 minutes, and we're going to have pit stops around the famous Watkins Glen. So sure to be a nice big grid this week. I'm looking forward to that one.
Now, about a minute or so away before we get ready for final qualifying. And just before we do, we'll quickly run through the top 10. You find yourself in current pole position is Justin Ruggio, an amazing time of 1:31.632. 3/10 clear, Madison Down, 1:31.914. John Emerson finds himself in third. Ritchie's in fourth. Mitch McLeod in fifth. Robert Hartley sixth. Tobias Cesarni, I'm going to say that wrong, so I apologise, Tobias, in seventh place. Lee Ellis in eighth. Sean Kelly in ninth, and Adrian Stafford in 10. So it's actually good to see a couple of names up there that we're not all that familiar with sometimes.
Yeah, and one of the key things to look at, I think I touched on it last week, look at some of the guys that currently aren't in the 10. Matthew Hill, Michael Fabian, Tony Autridge, all these guys that we'd expect to be in there. It's that sort of 6, 7, 8 now spot is really becoming pretty close between probably almost 10 guys at the moment. It's a real battle to try and crack into that top 10 rather.
And the one thing I do love too, just having a quick look at that, of course, our series is split up by different divisions as far as how many, how long you've been, with iRacing or how much laps you've done in the current cars. We've got a Division 6 driver, Adrian Stafford, in P10, so he'd be over the moon with that sort of time.
Yeah, he'll be very happy, and I've been watching, keeping an eye on some of his pace over the last few weeks, and he's definitely a fast driver. Makes a few mistakes in the races, but I think he's going to be one to watch out for in the future in the top split. He should be looking good though for the Div 6 Championship this season with that kind of pace.
All right, we're just waiting for our qualifying pitches to come through. Quite a few people taking part, which is good. And of course, this session isn't just limited to one session. There's many people, especially people all around the world, that take part in final qualifying. So as soon as those pitches come to hand, we'll get them to you ASAP. But a great little track, Circuit Zolder. Have you done much in the way of laps around here, Corey?
I've only done laps here in the Riley, so and actually the Star Mazda. I thought it was great. I tried to do some in the V8 Supercar, and it's just unbelievably slippery in this car. It's definitely going to make for some interesting racing, but I don't know how these guys are going to keep it on for 25 laps because it's out of control.
Yeah, the tyres will be certainly past their use-by date come lap 25, but you know, who knows, that tiny bit of fuel saving. I don't know if it'll save too much with the fuel with the tyres, but should be good to watch. And I really do love watching these cars bounce through the chicanes. It's really good car control, and certainly makes for some great racing.
One of the big things to watch out of that chicane for too, as we've seen in the past also, it's so easy to go in that little bit too deep, try and be a little bit hungry over the curbs and get what's known as a slowdown. And I think last season it caused a bit of controversy with 2 or 3 of the top runners actually tripping it over on the first lap. It was a little bit chaotic, but it definitely makes it interesting.
It's interesting that you bring up the slowdowns, and of course cut tracks is it's so easy to get hungry through the chicanes and try and carry too much speed through there. You know, if you just carry a bit too much speed and clip the chicanes at the wrong angle and grab a bit too much curb, you can find yourself losing your lap time. So it's crucial to get it right in qualifying.
Look now, so John Emerson will come around to start his lap. Val Richards actually, I believe, will be the first guy to start his lap. John Emerson's teammate. We weren't able to get Val Richards on screen due to a number issue, but try and keep up to date on how he's going.
The man on screen, John Emerson, like we said briefly in final qualifying, well, he finds himself at the moment P3, pretty tidy little lap, a 1:32.063, so he'd be hoping to go just that one bit better, but still pretty happy with his pace at this stage and not too far actually. He's only a smidgen off Madison down for P2.
Yeah, I have to say he's come back from Singapore looking very refreshed and ready to go again. That 1 week miss has obviously made him very hungry to get back out there and get some more good results. Of course, got his first win this season. So it's been a good one for John actually so far, season 1 of 2013.
Yeah, there's nothing better than seeing a first-time winner, is there? You know, there's so many good guys in this series, and you know, it's difficult just to find yourself just inside the top 10, let alone get a win. So yeah, it's brilliant for our championship, and John was over the moon. Oh, a little bit loose there on exit, and he will abort that lap.
Yeah, I was wondering what he was doing with that line there through the hairpin as Mitchell McLeod sideways into turn 1 sliding.
He's of course the second of the Tats.com drivers out of the TTR stable, teammates with Madison Down. Mitch has been not too shabby this week. P5, probably turned a little bit more laps than he normally is famous for. He pretty much sometimes just shows up on the night of final qualifying and punches out a number and then gets on with it. But his pace has been pretty good, a 32.513 so far. So hoping to improve just a little bit on that. But at the end of the day, P5's not a bad start position.
Yeah, doing a good job. He's sort of, looks like Justin Ruggier parked in a very, very odd place there. He's coming over the crest. Mitchell McLeod just missed him. I was just going to say, Mitchell's sort of been odd this season. Sort of, you know, we don't really, sometimes we see him, sometimes we don't, as he's actually pulled it over. Yeah, sometimes we see him, sometimes we don't. When we do, he normally does very little practice. So maybe that motivation's just not quite there at the moment, or he just feels he's happy with the results he's getting.
It's actually one of the few guys that I know that can actually have no practice through the week and just come out and punch a decent number out too. So something that, not a bad skill that I wouldn't mind having. I don't know how much I'd have to pay to get that. So the guys on screen, Carl May, Robert Hartley, they're all starting their hot lap now.
Carl May just actually finishing his hot lap. Look at Rob Hartley now coming through first few corners of track. He's got a bit of traffic up ahead though, he's going to watch out for. Or about 4 or 5 cars up ahead there trying to find a bit of track position. Very awkward around here because it does get pretty tight through the back half of the circuit, so getting out of the way can be very interesting at times.
Yeah, it's a full grid too. I mean, it's a full session as far as how many people in here having a red hot go and qualify.
Look at this. Sorry, Sam. I'd say there's about 6 cars ahead of him now, all going slow, trying to cool their tyres down and get a good run at their hot lap. It's going to be very awkward through some of the tightest parts of the track.
It can be distracting too. These guys will do their utmost best, as you see Hartley just passes on the back maybe, but he's in traffic.
That'll be lap over, you'd have to say.
Yeah, it's just distracting. Everyone's doing a really good job to stay out of his way, but when you're looking for your best braking markers and all that, it does become a bit of a distraction. So we'll see if that cost him, but I think it would have cost him a couple of tenths.
Yeah, I mean, it's, they did their best to get out of the way, and everyone was, they sort of moved off the line, but as you said, it can get very distracting when you're on a hot lap trying to spot your brake markers, your turning points. It can sort of just put you off as you come along with a 32.914. It's very easy to get put off though by cars zigging and zagging and sort of just trying to stay out of the way.
Only 2 tenths off his best for the week, so yeah, who knows what that lap could have been.
Matthew Hill on the screen now, continuing to be very happy with the pace in the red car since making the switch. A little bit off of this week though. He's struggling to find the grip in the car.
Yeah, outside of the top 10 at the moment, or as I say, outside of the top 10, he's 11th, but 32.945 for the week.
He's very sideways. That's that lack of grip there I was just talking about.
He's letting the left rear know all about that, but he's having a red hot go. But yeah, grip is a big issue around here, as you touched on earlier. But these guys have loved bigger tyres and more downforce, no doubt. So let's see what sort of number Hilly can punch out. Gets a little bit squirmy coming onto the front straight. And he'll cross the line. He puts down a 32.893. So he's actually gone faster.
Yeah, that'll put him in the 10.
Yeah, puts him inside the top 10. So Hilly will be happy about that.
Not a bad effort there, considering how sideways he was getting coming out of the hairpin and over the crest. So
man on screen, we just did our hot lap, was Madison down. It looks like he's just on an out lap at the moment, as a number of these guys are. We're 8 minutes, or almost 9 minutes gone in this session, so almost at the halfway mark, and there's not too many people that have actually punched out a decent number yet, but that's final qualifying for you.
Oh, bit of a moment there. Dave Oliver and Tony Ortridge, I think, through the first chicane.
Sorry, we'll just try and catch a bit of a replay to that, but same people that haven't punched out a number, but Madison Down, while we were chatting, has actually punched out a 1:31.886. He improves his time, still got to find a couple more tenths if he wants to grab pole position off Justin Rungia.
Trying to go through and find a driver that's on a hot lap at the moment. Everyone seems to be out there on an out lap getting ready.
See, Michael Fabian too, he's gone quicker in this session, a 32.797.
That'll bump Matthew Hill out of the top 10 again.
Fabian's was a 33.1 coming into here, so yeah, there's a couple of people jumping up and down the grid order, which is good.
Good run there through the chicane. That looked absolutely amazing there. Good riding over the curbs. Braking now for the second chicane. Very hard this bit here. You want to use a lot of the curb. It's so easy to get off track and discard the lap.
Oh, yeah, you're not wrong. How many times I've done that through practice, you know, you get through there and you think you got it all sorted and just grab a little bit too much curb and that's the end of that lap. So it can be hugely frustrating, but everyone's doing a really good job at this stage. Not too bad, looks quietly composed. I think he's happy so far.
Yeah, it's been a pretty smooth lap so far. Currently chasing a 1:32.0. He's been just ahead of his teammate at the moment.
A little bit squirrely.
Got to dip into the 31s here to hopefully improve his time. 32.053.
Oh, he does improve his time, but not by much. 32.053. His fastest was a 32.063.
Madison there boarding his lap time that last one.
Looks like Ruggier is about to start a hot lap. I think he's just trying to find a bit of real estate to himself. Like I said, we touched on our current pole sitter at the moment, blistering time 1:31.632. Had 3 tenths coming into this session, but Madison's been able to find a 10th, so I don't think Ruggier's got too much to worry about. That's a blistering time. I think he'll be pretty happy with that.
Now Ruggier starting his hot lap.
It's probably a good idea to actually ride on board with Ruggier and just have a look at how he attacks these chicanes, because he said that just how crucial it can be coming into the chicanes where you can gain and easily lose time as far as getting a cut track. So let's listen to his throttle and his brake as he approaches the first chicane.
A lot of curve there.
How good was that? Here's the second one. Did good. You can hear his throttle application. Not a bad job. He's getting on with it, so he obviously hasn't been pinged for cut track, but geez, he caught enough curb in that first chicane. He did a great job.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's interesting to see now if this lap time counts with if it was an off track or not, because he was really attacking those curbs a lot more than I've seen anyone else do so far in the session. Might explain why he's got a 2 tenths margin in qualifying. Oh, just a little sideways coming on the front straight there. He holds a straight line as he out of the last corner. See if he can improve his time. It's a 1:31.739.
Oh, he's not far off his best, so he's got pace. He's pretty happy with the car and the way it's sorted, because he's punching out numbers that are all around the fastest times for the week, so not a bad effort.
Michael Fabian now starting his lap. Tricky one, turn one. It sort of edges left and then really turns left.
Oh, he was lucky. He caught that right rear on the grass and puffed up a bit of dirt, but held on to it. It's just to give the old heart rate monitor a shake just to make sure it's still working, I think. Through the chicane, a lot of two-wheel, I was just about to say, a lot of two-wheel action there, and no doubt Fabian doesn't let us down. Nice two-wheel action off that first curb. I think it looks fairly stable.
Yeah, it's looking good at the moment. He's sort of getting out of the corners nice and easily. As you get sideways, coming up the hill though. But it does, it looks a lot more controlled than some of the other guys out there at the moment.
So like we said, he's already gone faster than his time through the week, so his fastest time overall is in this session of 32.797. Actually, while all this has been going on, we see John Emerson's climbed up the sheets. He's put out a 1:31.849. That'll give him P2 overall.
That's a very nice lap there by Emerson, as Fabian comes to line, he improves again with this. Actually, no, he doesn't. Rather, just a bit slower. 7.99 plays his earliest 7.97.
We see on screen Justin Ruggier, Carl May. They're about to start a hot lap. So currently it's Justin Ruggier now over John Emerson, finds himself P2, Madison down P3. Have a look at the times for second and third. Emerson an 8.49 to Madison Down's 8.86. Literally nothing in it.
Yeah, it was a fantastic lap by Emerson there. It's unfortunate we missed it, but I'll tell you what, he'll be happy with that. But he'll be hoping for a better first lap than the earlier race. He had a few dramas. Session winding down now, only a couple minutes to go.
So our current pole position man, Justin Ruggier, on screen, halfway through or approaching the halfway mark, coming into the first chicane. Two wheels got some air. I was going to say I've seen some pretty impressive two-wheel action shots on Facebook through the week in testing, and yeah, that'll end that lap. But yeah, some of the photos that have been on Facebook have been pretty impressive.
Yeah, those ANZ boys have really been smashing those curbs at the chicane. You can get it right, you can pick up a bit of time, but you can also go a little bit too aggressive and roll off the lap.
Another one to improve is also Mitchell McLeod. Just looking at the timesheets, he's found a 10th or so, 32.420 now for Mitch. Pretty much won't change too much of where he's at on the starting grid. Still start out at P5 for the moment. But all these guys, as most of them, are finding time and finding pace, which is good.
Yeah, it's interesting. We used to go through a bit of a phase where no one would really improve, or the top guys anyway, wouldn't really improve their lap times in the final qualifying session. But of late, you know, these guys have all sort of been starting to punch in pretty good times in the final session.
So the session winding down now, almost coming up to the 18-minute mark. So got 2 minutes left, so the guys have got enough to quickly get back, put on a fresh set of rubber and get on with it. But probably guys will only find themselves with one more hot lap if they're not out on track at the moment. So anything could still happen, but we are winding down. It's gone really quick. I can't believe how quick this session's gone, actually.
Yeah, it feels like only a minute ago we started the session. Looking now to see if anyone out there is on a lap.
A little bit of contact there. Looks like Desmond Hill and Michael Hill. Hallam, sorry. Yeah, Desmond Hallam and Michael Hill. Jeez.
Matthew Hill.
Should have another whiskey, shouldn't I? Jeez, we're in desperate need of Jay getting back, I think.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks playing host is starting to catch up with you, sir, man.
Getting old, mate. Getting old.
Justin now starting a lap. Of the other front guys, Mark Fabian's left the session, Matthew Hill's left the session, so only a couple of these guys still going to have a crack at it.
Actually surprised Ruggier is having another red hot go, because you know, although the guys have found a little bit of pace, he's still got 2 tenths up his sleeve, so no doubt his race pace will be good. That car's, you know, pretty much in this session, this car's looked really good. He's just got to watch how aggressive he is through the chicanes as he comes through this section now.
Oh, again, pounding the curves.
He's keeping going.
Interesting that if that hasn't counted as an off track, that'll be very interesting. But he's pushing on. A lot of curb again there. Interesting. If this is going to count as a lap time, I'll tell you what, he has absolutely found the limit of this racetrack.
Yeah, well, the last red hot go he punched out a 31.7, the fastest for this session, and only a fraction slower than his overall for the week. So definitely got. That'll cost him.
That'll be it.
Yeah.
He's back out of it now.
What a shame. Would have been good to see what sort of number he punched out. But no doubt he's obviously pretty happy with the car.
Got Sean Kelly coming around the final corner now. Hasn't completed time in this session, so he has got a time down throughout the week.
Yeah, he finds himself P9 for the moment. His fastest for the week, 32.847.
32.999.
There you go. So not far off his overall pace, but Madison Down still out there.
Throwing it away.
Oh, we'll blame Seb for that one. We'll switch to the other TTR, tats.com Falcon. A little bit of traffic in front of him. I don't think it should bother him too much.
Carl Mains and Motorsport. Behind Robert Hartley has now bought his lap as well, so I think it's only Carwin May and Mitchell McLeod left on the lap.
The benefit for Mitch here is that they're both on a hot lap, so you won't actually catch May because they're both having a red hot go.
If Mitchell can maybe crack into that top 3 in qualifying. A little bit of oversteer on the exit of the corner.
May's avoided.
Comes to the line now. 32.349. So again, a little bit of an improvement.
Yeah, he improves his time, doesn't quite improve his position. Needed a 32.251 to knock off Richie's. But I think that's it for this session. So the fastest overall for this session. A couple of mover and shakers too, which is good. Justin Ruggier, fastest in this session, and will be your pole sitter. 31.632 for his best time for the week. 31.738 in this session. So as soon as final qualifying gets adjusted, we'll quickly run through that order. And we're not far away. I think this is going to be a ripper of a race. Good to see a couple of people charging up through the grid in final qualifying.
Yeah, it's interesting qualifying. I think John Emerson locked out his position on the front row rather. Definitely going to be interesting with some of the guys sort of maybe a little bit further back than they would have liked. But I'll tell you what, this battle here for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13, 14 is mighty close at the moment. I'll tell you what, I'm absolutely loving it.
And of course, next week, head for round 9. A circuit that a lot of people love, probably not on your favourite list. So, Corey, Phillip Island, mammoth race, 38 laps.
Yeah, another one of the big endurance races. It's a shame about the circuit we're racing on, but hopefully it's not too long till Bathurst comes out and they can go back to being a sprint race.
All right, so final qualifying's come through. Our pole sitter for the next race, Justin Ruggier, 31.632 over John Emerson's 31.849. Madison Down in P3, 131.886. Ritchie's, Mitchell McLeod, Robert Hartley, Michael Fabian in 7th. Tobias Cezerni in 8th. Lee Ellis 9th. Sean Kelly rounding out your top 10. I think we're in for a ripper, mate, and we're not too far away, which is good.
Yeah, only about 5 minutes till the race now, so make sure you go grab a nice cold beer and come back and join us, because I think it's going to be a fantastic one. You know, the track's very slippery, a bit of fuel saving involved. It's going to be an absolute cracker.
There you have it. Just like Corey said, quickly run away, go to the toilet, grab a drink, and we'll cover all the action as soon as we have a quick little break. And we'll be back with 25 laps around Circuit Zolder. You're watching the Iracing V8 Supercar Series, live and exclusive here on V8's Online. We'll be back shortly.